I've had my Royal Enfield Himalayan for 3 months and 3,000 miles, and so far, I've only had a few minor problems with it, and one major problem that's trying to kill me. Was that too much? Yeah, we can cut that in post. If you've been following the channel for any length of time, you probably know that I've become somewhat of an unabashed Royal Enfield fanboy, especially when it comes to my Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. I've developed somewhat of an unnatural love for this motorcycle. I don't know what it is, but its personality, and it definitely has one, clicks with my personality almost perfectly. I absolutely love this motorcycle, and I make no bones about it. So, it breaks my heart to have to say that I'm not sure that I can recommend anyone actually buy this motorcycle until Royal Enfield steps up and fixes a somewhat major problem. And if you're wondering what that problem is, I'll give you a little taste of it, and then I'll get back to it later. Here's the problem. Right now I'm in cruise control, and I'm going to take my hands off the handlebars. And you can see it wants to put me into that pole. I will show you again at a slightly slower speed. Here's 22 miles an hour on a flat road, and I'm going to take my hands off the handlebars. You see how bad that is? Watch again. I'll get back to all of that later, because what I want to talk about first is, again, how much I love this bike and what are the good points of it. What are the sort of not good points of it, and then I'll get back into this one fatal flaw. So like I've said, I've put 3,000 miles on this motorcycle so far. I don't know if that's a lot or a little, but, you know, that's 1,000 miles a month, I guess. Considering that the bike was in the shop for more than 2 weeks, that's a lot of miles to be put on in 3 months. To say that this bike has become pretty much my favorite bike that I've ever owned is not an understatement. The only bike that I've ever sort of clicked with on this level, well, there was the Triumph Scrambler 900, which you all know I absolutely loved. And there's also my Moto Guzzi V85 TT, which I absolutely loved. I can honestly say, and this might surprise some of you, that I like this bike better than both of those. I don't know why. I wish I could tell you what it is about this bike that clicks with my soul so well, but I can't really tell you. It's just a personal thing. The engine on this motorcycle is fantastic. And the idea of, well, I'll show you. When you're at a stoplight, right? And you downshift and you come to a stop. And then the light turns green. And you throttle up. And you can hear the piston on each one of its cranks. Whatever pistons do. Listen. There's just something so magical about that sound to me. I don't know why, but it's just magic to me. I love it. I love the way this bike handles. It handles not only, you know, the twisties and stuff like that just fine, but it handles itself really well on the freeway and, you know, roads like this that are, well, I don't know what the speed limit is, but let's go 52 and say that it handles stuff like this just fine. It'll go, I've had this bike up, you know, pushing 100, I forget what it was exactly, and I've never once felt unsafe, you know, or underpowered. Except for, well, this issue, where it wants to pull me to the right into whatever happens to be over there, whether it's a tree or a car or a person on a bike. I don't know. I'll get back to that later. This bike is super comfortable. The ergonomics on this thing are just spot on for me. I can sit for hours just like this and not feel uncomfortable. And if I do, you know, get a little bit of the stiffness in the legs, I can stand like this for hours. Well, maybe not hours, but I can stand on this bike for a very long time at very high speeds, and it's perfect. I love it. You know, I'm not going to lie, one of the other things that I absolutely love about this bike is the way it looks. The idea that I can strap my bags to it all over the place and just make it look like this crazy going to war bike. You know, that's my thing, and this bike lets me do it. And thanks to Lone Rider, I have the gear to do it. Coming up on a video very soon, I'm going to give you a complete run-through of this Lone Rider setup I've got behind me, the ADV Bags 70. It's a 70-liter rackless set that I used last weekend on the Mon Marini that I was testing, and I have on the Himalayan now for testing. And then once I know that it's solid on the Himalayan and isn't going to cause any further handling issues, hello, pulling to the right, then we're going to take it on an adventure. Maybe. If I can get this damned situation. See, the pulling to the right is perfect when you're on a thing like this because you don't have to worry about it. It's automatically steering. It's like a Tesla. If you're going, to the right. Anyway. So I love the way it looks. I love the way it handles. I love the engine on this bike. It has great gas mileage so far. I haven't had any surprises in the gas mileage situation. I love the gearbox. Now, some folks might think that the gearbox on this is a little, I want to say, I don't know, buttery? I can't think of a better word to describe it. It doesn't click into a gear with authority. On the other hand, it's just so super easy to switch through the gears. And it's so super easy to find neutral. It's just so great. I love this bike. Did I mention I love this bike? So after 3,000 miles, again, the only two issues I've had that have required it to go to the shop was, one, at 5,000 RPM, there was a rattle coming from the headlight that would make a nun curse. It was awful. It was driving me absolutely bonkers. Thankfully, and apparently it was a fairly easy fix under warranty, the guys over at the shop took care of it. It's all gone now, and now I can go up to 5,000 RPM without that rattling noise, which is, nice. The other problem I've had, we'll get into, but here are a couple of other things about the bike that aren't so, fantastic.
These suck. This kickstand is super hard to deal with. This is cheap crap. This is also cheap crap. And loose. When you come to a stop, the front brakes sound like two pieces of wood rubbing against a dirty dinner plate. This is purely ornamental. The catalytic converter looks like a medieval medical device. I don't even know what's happening here. But that can't be good.
I can completely overlook all of that stuff because, well, first of all, it's a $6,300 bike or whatever it is. And second of all, it's just so good. It's so good. It really is. However, the elephant in the room here is the following. This bike has a pretty severe issue with pulling to the right. I may have mentioned this earlier in the video. I don't really know. I'll have to go back and look. It's an issue both when I have my hands on the bar because I feel like I constantly have to correct it, but it's even more of an issue if I happen to temporarily take my hands off the bars. Like, I'm on cruise control right now, I'm on a flat road, I take my hands off the bars, and there we go. Right into the airport. Hello, airport. If I slow down to say, 25, which is a reasonable speed to be traveling at in the city, and I throw it on cruise control, and I do the same thing, you can see exactly how severe it is. Okay? Now that's a huge problem when I'm riding in... Oh god. I mean, that's dangerous. That's absolutely dangerous. If you've been following the internets lately, you'll know that a couple of pretty big YouTubers in the motorcycle space have had crashes due to death wobbles or tank rattle. What the hell are they called? Tank slappers, sure. I'm not saying that an issue like this pull to the right could cause a tank slapper, but I'm not saying it couldn't. Because if you're investigating the cause of a death wobble, you're going to look at a few things. You're going to look at the suspension. You're going to look at the tires. And you're going to look at the overall alignment of the motorcycle. There are a couple of other factors. The way you have it weighted, if you put too much weight on the back, you don't have enough weight on the front, that could cause a death wobble. There's a bunch of things. But a misaligned motorcycle is one of those things. Here's what I know. When my bike was in the shop, Royal Enfield acknowledged that they know about this problem, and that the fix is adjusting the swing arm. You see, the Royal Enfield's engine is a stressed member of the motorcycle. If you're not familiar with what that means, it means that it's sort of part of the frame. there's the front part of the frame that attaches to the engine, and the rear part of the frame, which is the swing arm, which also attaches to the engine. So the engine is an integral part of the structure of the motorcycle. Royal Enfield has acknowledged, apparently, that in some of the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450s, there's a misalignment with the swing arm, and that's what's causing this pull to the right issue. And so, the kind folks at the shop that I bought the motorcycle from did some adjustments to the rear swing arm, and for the first couple of days, I was actually kind of convinced that it was 90 to 95% fixed. But then I started doing some actual testing, and compared it against my Trident 660, which goes straight as an arrow, and I realized, no, this is not fixed. In the process of all of this, I spent a lot of time sort of investigating what's going on here. And I've come to the realization that I'm not alone when it comes to this pull to the right issue with Royal Enfield Himalayan 450s. There's a ton of folks on the old interwebs who are having the same exact problem as I am. And they seem to have either solved it or tried to solve it in a number of different ways. Readjusting the spokes, fixing the forks, because in, I guess, some bikes, the fork fluid oil stuff, that's the technical term, was different in each fork or something like that, and so it was causing an unbalance. Oh god, I can't take my hands off the handlebars in order to talk to you, which, as you know, I'm Italian, and that's necessary. A couple of folks have also mentioned the rear swing arm adjustment as a possible problem. My point here in all of this is the following. Like I said, I love this bike, and I really want it to work because, let's face it, if it doesn't work, I can't sell it. I'm stuck with this bike if it doesn't work, because if I go to sell it, I'm going to have to tell the new owner, hey, it's a great bike, I love everything about it, except it's going to try to throw you into a river or an airport or something. So, just know that it pulls to the right. I can't sell it like that, so I'm screwed, right? Not that I want to sell the bike, because I friggin' love it. And I want to spend quality time with this motorcycle. Again, if it were just me having this problem, then I'd say, well, that's just me, it's a one-off, no big deal, stuff happens, well, let's get it fixed and move on. But it's not just me. I've personally gotten emails and Instagram messages and comments from people saying, I am having that same exact issue. I did the research, and I found people in forums on Facebook and all kinds of places that are having the same issue. I decided I'm going to pursue this and see what I can find out about it all, and write up an article or something, and I'll publish what I learned. If you are having this problem with your Royal Enfield Himalayan, I'd love it if you'd reach out to me at bug@bugmoto.com. I'll put it up on the screen, and let me know. I want to talk to you. All that aside, if it weren't for that one issue, I would be here telling you I absolutely love everything about this motorcycle, even the cheaply made stuff or whatever. It just all works, and it's fantastic, and I love it. But until Royal Enfield addresses this, and at least until my bike gets fixed and I know what to tell people about the fix, I'm not recommending you buy it. Not unless you are able to ride the very specific bike that you are buying, and you absolutely 100% make sure it doesn't do this. You get what I'm saying? Thanks for watching. If you like this video and you want to follow along this saga of the pull to the right Royal Enfield Himalayan 450, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit something, for crying out loud. It's Saturday. I don't know. I'll catch you on the next one.